This time here, Yerushalmi Shekalim. In the article, Oz Edition of Daf Chaf Amud Aleph, we are on the fifth line down. We're up to the word Zok Rabbanani, but I think we mentioned yesterday we're going to take them out like the Groz gears up and start from Kamadat Amar, which in the Vilna Yerushalmi, somewhere in Yud Beis Amud Aleph, and in the Vilna Bavli Yerushalmi, it is 8 lines on top of the Mishnah on Daf Ches and Ralph. In other words, you start Halacha Beis, the Mishnah Halacha Beis, and start counting upwards on the 8th line up. So, and there are two different Gersos here, which are the Gers of the Gemara and the Gers of the Gra, which can go either way. So, but in any event, yesterday we said that Ben Azai doesn't hold like Rabbi Shimon, who says that the Mechusas Ma'is Nichlas Adil is Aser. So how do you meiser animals which are born at the end of the year? What are you going to do with them? And are not on a Mechusas Ma'is. In other words, they're born after Chab Beis Elul, and therefore they can't be brought as Karbanos that year. So, what are you going to do with them? So the truth is, Rabbanan have the same problem. That's what I was about to say. According to the Gears of the Gemara itself, we're going to say like, just like wherever say according to Rabbanan, who hold that Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, really Chav is the demarcation line. You have to say Seni Vernazeh holds that Luli Misatzim Neatzman. According to the Groz Gears, which is the reverse. You're going to have to say, just like whatever you're going to say for Ben Azai about Eluli Misasim Bifnei Atzman. So they're going to say according to Rabbanan, who hold that the Chavtes Elul is the demarcation line. And what we're going to say is that they both hold that, yeah, you have to push off the Ma'aser Behemah until the following year. But the following year, with those animals, either according to Ben Azai, they're Lulim Bifnei Atzman, right? Whenever you're able to do it, then whatever Goren comes up next. According to Rabbanan, all the animals from Yom to Rosh Hashanah Shavar, Yom Rosh Hashanah Zeh, from the previous Rosh Hashanah, which was Rosh Hashanah Ma'aser Behemah, to this is Rosh Hashanah Ma'aser Behemah. They all will be Ma'aser together, but whatever going is coming. So we see, it's not really like, it's like we don't go after Chanota, Abba, Shlish. There's no demarcation point, which is the specific time when when they're suitable for either, when they're conceived, which would be the, when, to be like the time that they bud, or like Shlish, which is the time which they're suitable for Hakrava, but again, that would mean that, like Rabbi Shimon, that Chutz Zman is Nichlas L'Dilis. The only work we go like Rabbi Shimon holds Chutz Zman is Nichlas L'Dilis Aser. Or, if we said explicitly, add Estimati Shnaimbo, those which are born till the 22nd of Elul, as the word said yesterday. Nisa Kol Lodim Ad Estimati Shnaimbo. So the what it says, no, that's clearly not the case. You know why? Because we don't wait. We don't necessarily do it precisely at that time. It's not. We have to do it at the time when they're roy, which would mean that all the elulim would be done from Rosh Chodesh Elul, the ones from Rosh Chodesh Elul to Chab Beis Elul will be done according to Ben Azai, the same during that 22-day period, and according to Rabbanan, or those also born from the Rosh Hashanah till Chab Beis Elul should be done during that period. No, we can push it off to the following year. Sometimes we do have to push it to the following year because you don't like Rabbi Shimon. Because it's not the assassin. That's what I was about to say. Rabbanan. The verse of the Gemara itself. Even for the following year, right? You don't have to do it. B'shas Havah Shlish, which is by all the ones that Chab Beis Elul, you have to do by Chab Beis Elul. No, you leave until the following year. And they're miced together with all the other animals which were born from Rosh Hashanah the previous year till Chav Tesel the previous year. Whenever you get a chance, right? You make a Goren at that time. Ben Azai. So to according to Ben Azai, okay, I have to do that Elulim Bifnei Atzma because that's Ben Azai Shita, that Elul animals are done by themselves because we're Misupuk, whether it's Rosh Chodesh Elul or Chavtes Elul. But in any event, you do it whenever you get the opportunity. The Gra reverses the case. So the Gra says that because yesterday we ended up talking about Ben Azai. We said Ben Azai, you say that you go to Ben Azai, you say that there's a demarcation point of Chav Beis. There's no such demarcation point. So therefore, but rather Ben Azai goes to Rabbanan. I'm going to read the Girsa. El Kmadat Omar al Ben Azai Minichel Shana Ba. Lead them following year. Famous Asim Ne'elu. Then you take all of Ne'elu, even after Rosh Hashanah, and you gather them together. You leave them for the following year. Maybe it's Asim in Bnei Shnasim. They're mice together with all the rest of their year. Now, you don't mix up the years. It's true, but it's not something which goes after Chanota, because then after Shlish, because if it was a concept of Shlish, then we would be makbid that all the ones which were born from Rosh Chodesh Elu, or from Rosh Hashanah the previous year, according to Rabbanan, till Chav Beis Elu, would specifically be during that time, right? Of they be mice by themselves, and the other ones, which are born after Chav Beis Elu, or it would have to be mice by themselves, because they're not maybe shlish before Rosh Hashanah. But since we put all the Elulim together, according to Menaz, and all the previous year's ones according to Rabbanan, so it must be that Haba Shlish is not the demarcation point. There's no, so not when the Roy Lakrov is not the same as being Roy Lachila by Meiser, and therefore we don't go after Shas Chanota, we don't go after Shas Hava Shlish. We go after whatever they're born, so to speak, which is whatever that means. Again, not Roy Lakrov, but not so to speak. Whatever they're born, that's what it goes by. I think we'd like to say this as a bottom line, just to make it clear, which is that had the Hava Shlish been a thing, so then we should have found some Tana who said that Chav Beis Elu is the demarcation line, and after Chav Beis Elu is for the following year, because then it was the Hava Shlish, it's Roy Lakrova, happened later on. It didn't happen during this year. So therefore, the fact we don't find that the Chav Beis Elu is the demarcation line, rather we take everything which was born either the entire year or during Elu, and we do it following year, whatever Kami Goren we find, next Goren probably. So then we see that the Hava Shlish is not a thing, because there's no parallel between the time it's Roy Lakrova and the time where it's Roy Lachila by Meiser. Okay, now the Gemara says that Rav Chuna says Zosameres, from the fact that we go after the time when it's born by Meiser Behema and determining its year, not by the time it's Roy Lakrova. So the Gemara says, from that we see that Yamisha Bechor Mechusar Zman Bohem, the days which Bechor is Mechusar Zman. Now the halacha by Bechor is that you're supposed to be marketed within his first year of life. He didn't fulfill the mitzvah properly. So there's a pasuk which teaches that which we learn out from the pasuk. The article brings down note 8. Dvarim Tesvav Chav Lifnei Hashem Lechecha Tochlenu Shana B'Shana. So it's mitzvah to eat it Shana B'Shana. Although Shana B'Shana, of course, why it says Shana B'Shana Chazal, a different drasha for that. Of course, Nechal Shnei Yomim B'Layla Echad. But in any event, the Shana is taken after Shana B'Shana. But for Shana in and of itself, it's taken to mean that it's a mitzvah to bring the Bechor during its first year of life, and then you get an extra day to eat it past the first year, Shana B'Shana. But in any event, it's supposed to be brought during the first year. So when do we start the year? Do we start from the 8th day when it's Roy Lakrova, or do we start from the time it's born? So by Ma'aseh B'Hem, we see we don't start from the 8th day. We don't go after Hava Shlish, right? We go after the day it's born. That's what determines when it's Meiser. If it's born between Chav Beis and Chav Tes Elul, it's still Meiser previous year, not the following year. So the days of Bechor Zman only learn b'toch shnaso. They count towards its year. Raimana said, Rabbi Yonah, my father, of course his father, Shamal Minado, I learned that from Pasuk. Kol b'chor asher yivaleid. And this is the next pasuk there in Varim. Kol b'chor asher yivaleid v'korcha tzoncha tonecha hazachar takdish shavkecha lo savo b'chor sharecha lo so goes b'chor tonecha. So he says, from that pasuk itself, you see it go by the point time it's born, because it says Kol b'chor asher yivaleid v'chor tzoncha hazachar haketzem mishas leidaso amon lo shana. It says from the time of Leda. So since it says explicitly time of Leidos, so that means that we go after the time of birth for the mitzvah to bring it within its first year of life. Okay, halacha base. B'sholosh kupas, sholosh saying with three baskets of 3 saying each. Tvarmim es alishka, we do the trumas alishka at the 3 times when you do trumas alishka during the course of the year. And where it says, Mishnah says rather, Uksiva aleim, it says on them, Aleph Beis Gimel. Rabbi Shimon remember Yavanis Kosav aleim. In Greek, Alpha, Beta, Gamma. The Karma Ada says, so you're going to be Yavanis, they're accustomed to use Greek. It's interesting, right? Is from there we learn that Greek is a very aesthetic language, and Yishkam it should be used in the tense of shame, which I think it's the who says here it's where the my raw folder says the same thing. The Olei Shem is the Beis Hamikdash. Right, that's it doesn't say explicitly, but I think the article says that that it's the Beis Hamikdash, right? So it's like a mystical thing, right? Use Greek because Greek is something beautiful and it should be used in the Beis Hamikdash in the Holy Shem. The Rivan is more functional here, or more pragmatic. He says, he curious of that was the lingua franca of the day. There was once Alexander conquered Yerushalayim, of course they used Alexander's dates for Minyan Shtoros, so then they used Greek was the way they functioned in the day-to-day life, so that's how they used Alpha, Beta, Gamma. Ein term nichnas lo b'pargut chafus. The person who does the Trumas Lishka would not go with a double hemmed garment, with a hemmed garment. He says here, the Carbon A says, when you have a long garment and you double it up. Also, you have a color paragod chafus. That hem is called a paragod chafus. He doesn't use that hem. He doesn't go with that hem garment. So they shouldn't suspect him. They went that he's going to put money from the Trumas Alishka into that hem. Doesn't wear a shoe because he put money in the shoe. Sandal, nor a sandal because he could put it between his leg and his foot and the sole of the sandal. Tefillah, not even with the tefillin, right? Because they shouldn't be say that he undid the seams and put money in them. And the kamea is, of course, is an amulet which is also sewn together. And the reason why this is done is Shemi Ani, maybe he'll become poor. B'yoma, they'll say, Mevon Alishka Hani. He came poor because he couldn't have air and took stuff from the Beis Hamikdash, which he shouldn't have taken from the Trumas Alishka. Shemi Yashir. That would be, if it was punished. Maybe he'll become rich. B'yoma, the same with Trumas Alishka. He got rich because he did Trumas Alishka. It snuck out some funds there. Sha'adam tzarech lotzei sidei brios. It's like they say, yish tzukot and tzulait. The person has to be yotzei, the brios, and people should not suspect them and not look askance him. Let's say he finds find favor in the eyes of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Be clean from Kodesh Baruch Hu and be from Am Yisrael. From it says a similar pasuk, find grace and good perspective, and literally good intelligence. Beinei Elokim v'Adam, in the eyes of God and the eyes of man. Okay, so there's some Girsa changes here. The Mashbiach also changed the Girsa. I'm not sure we have to actually change it. The Reb Chaim does not. Let's try just go straight here. Tamatina, we learned in Masechah Shabbos. The finding of Arba Chamish Chuppos, when you have to move stuff from your warehouse in order for people to be able to sit there So you're allowed to be Terech and move four or five kupos. So Rabbi Zir showed Rabbi Yoshia. Zir asked Rabbi Yoshia, Kama Yishu and show kupos. What's the share of each of these kupos so you can be mafana? Let's learn out that which is sasim, but not specified in Masech Shabbos, from that which is first that which is specified over here. Tani b'shalosh kupos shows sein. There you take three kupos, each of three sein. So shein tisha sein, right? The which are 9 saw. With 3 times here, of course, you do the Trumas Lishka. Shein esrim b'sheva sein, which altogether will come out to 27 so over the course of the year. And Trumas Lishka with this you do Trumas Lishka. And so each share of each kupa is 3 sein. Kosav ale beis gimel. And then it says, and now we go, actually, this is the next part. So we see the answer is 3 saw, each one is 3 saw in the Gemara Masechet Shabbos, in the Mishnah Shabbos. Now, the Gemara says, okay, we have learned of Shekalim al Beis Gimel. Minema Kosalim al Beis Gimel. Why does it say al Beis Gimel on them? So Lomar, that tells, Amy, stop and you're showing a Kolim Lashnia. You have to know which is first. That, you take the first one before the second one. Aim is stop being you can't. Aim is stop being here I see we do have to change the gears, and now I understand where you're supposed to change it. So the let's see who changes it inside. The play motion does not change it. Actually, it's interesting that they don't necessarily change it. So actually, the way the Mashbiach changes gears and the way the Karmei changes gears is the previous Gemara to learn in sync with the Rambam that each time there are 27 seim, not over the course of the entire year. There are 27 so each seim, and they're big baskets and small baskets each time. And we're going to go with the pshat which we gave, that there were 27 altogether over the course of the year. As Reed Baz points out, if you have learn like the Rambam, then that's actually each kupa for Shabbos would be 9 sein, not just 3 sein. Okay, so that would be a big enough community for Shabbos as well, not just for the halachos here, because the 27 would be each time. And they would take 27 and 3 big kupos, and then they take 9 each of the small kupos. But in any event, each kupo they take 27 altogether in 3 kupos of 9, and then they would transfer them to small kupos later on. But then each kupa by Shabbos would be 9 sein, not 3 sein. But getting back over here to our Gemara, the Gemara we just read. So the Girsa in the Bavli Yerushalmi and the Girsa in the Shinus Chos and Reb Chaim, which of course goes with the Bavli Yerushalmi, is not like here we have in front of you in the art scroll. It's rather Minei Kosalim Al Beis Gimel Lomar Shemistapek Minei Rishonim Kodim Lashniya. You first finish the first one before the second, and you start the second one. Umina Shniya comes from the second one before the third one. Now the way the Girsa is in front of us. The Mefarshim have an interesting discussion here, like the Pnei Moshe seems to say, that you take a little bit from the first, right? You don't finish the first one, because before you take a little from the second one. And then you don't finish the second one before you take a little from the third one. For the third one, then you can finish it completely and then go back to the other two. But that doesn't seem to be the proper girsa from all the other sources, rather like I just read it to you from the Bavli Yerushalmi and the Shinus Chos. Again, that Lamar Shemistapik Mina Rishonim Kol Mashtiya Umina Shniya Kodim Mashlishis. Okay, that brings us to the bottom of Chaf Amud Beis, and this is really the good place to stop, even though it goes on, but really goes on to another aspect, and another Gemara which you've had several times in the Yerushalmi already. Okay, in Shabbos and Pesachim. I think this one we also had already in Shabbos and Pesachim, and they're probably the Girsa there, because I don't remember being the Girsa like here in the art school. Most of the gears there was also like the way we just changed it. Okay, so we'll stop here for today.